Could you explain how it feels to stand for 4 hours and conduct Parsifal?
I find conducting Wagner unbelievably effortless, to be honest. It's far less tiring than a Beethoven or a Mahler symphony, because somehow the music has a life of its own that you just allow to breathe. Studying it is very exhausting. It takes a long time on your own to prepare it, but by the time I get to actually perform it, it's one of the most pleasurable, effortlessly physical things I do.
I wonder if you could encapsulate in a phrase the extraordinary musical and cultural importance of Wagner. To put it very basically, what does he mean?
Goodness. I think Wagner is the most extraordinary human being that has ever lived. And there are quite a few. But when you think of what he did to music, what he did to opera, what he did to drama, what he did to the theatre. He was the first person to dim the lights in a theatre auditorium. The sort of very basic things that we take for granted now about what drama means, about what going to a performance means, that was all him. His music, though, ultimately is what matters, and I think more than any other composer, you hear one bar of Wagner and you know it's Wagner. And you may not like it, but you know that's what it is, and you feel slightly overpowered, if one can be slightly overpowered. The clever thing about Parsifal is that almost everything that happens in Parsifal has already happened before the curtain goes up, which allows the whole opera to be a sort of spiritual reflection on it. So he's able to talk about very passionate things that happen with a certain dispassionate quality. And I think that's the spirituality that he is looking for. That's the poetry he's looking for. There's no prosaic need to pursue the drama. And that allows him, the music, to comment rather than to act. And in commenting, it can be more beautiful, I think, than in action. It's one of my favourite lines when Gornemont says to Parsifal, "This is where time becomes space." And why I love it is because that's what music is for, and it's specifically what conducting is for. You're trying to make the timing of music into a space. And I think you get that feeling in the music, that it is incredibly static, and yet so much is happening. And even the first melody of the whole piece kind of defines timeless movement. I love how the structure of the whole piece is inherent in just this opening melody. So you have the simplicity of the opening world. You can't get more simple than that. A little bit more interesting, and then a little bit more dissonant as the Klingsor and Kundry characters take over in Act 2. Resolved by Parsifal's actions, and everything, by the time you get to Act 3, brought back home. And when I was studying the piece, I was just amazed by his ability to take such a simple and consistent line and on every larger scale, keep it the same. And I think that is the practical way that he allows this constant motion to still feel that you're in the same place.
Parsifal was Wagner's last word. Was it, in your opinion, also his greatest word?
I think Parsifal is his most perfect work because he was so in command of his own powers of actually writing the music, that he was able to do whatever he wanted, really. He was not struggling with the language. It's, I think it's the most, I mean, it's a unique piece. It's not an opera, it's not a symphony, it's not an oratorio. He didn't even want it performed in an opera house. He wanted it only performed at Bayreuth because he didn't want it sullied by the 19th century traditions of opera. Fortunately, when the copyright ran out, the world was able to hear it. But I think that is an important fact. I think it's not a traditional opera. It's not high C's and tiaras. It's a very contemplative, meditative thing, which music does very well. Music does timeless meditation better than any other art, I think.